Shutter Sound
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, SWAC fans HBCU fans across the United States. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Big D out of the Valley down here in Baton Rouge, and I have on with me the founder of Black College Experience, the one and only SUJAG, Keisha Kells. How you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Black College Experience.
Special edition.
We got the Tuesday night edition. This is a special edition, mainly because I was traveling back from Bayou Classic. So that's why we got the special edition.
They call it Bayou
It's my
Classic
fault.
Tide edition.
That's it. It's so much happened within the last couple of weeks of sports.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. I'm so excited, yet so not excited.
Yeah.
The season has come to an end for my Jaguars. It's finally sunk in that my Jaguars won't be playing anymore. This is it. But that means no more heart attacks, no more checking scores and going through all of that.
That's just football season.
Every
Got
week.
basketball season coming.
That's it. Got basketball season going. So as we kick it off, here we are rolling it out. Looks like we got a lot of things that happened this week. Let's start off talking about Hampton. Let's start off with some general news. Hampton leaves the MEAC and heads for the Big South. What do you think about Hampton leaving the MEAC, heading to the Big South?
Well, I mean, of course it's going to be a good and bad, for Hampton. I mean, the Big South, I think it's two teams in the Big South that went to the FCS playoffs, and that was Kennesaw State and Monmouth. I'm not necessarily sure why they went. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good and bad. I mean, basketball, football, other sports. I mean, they're doing what Tennessee State's done, but I just think it's kind of bad for the MEAC, but it's good for Hampton. I'm guessing just being a part of another conference, having a chance to play in the playoffs. I guess they feel like they're widening their footprint from just the Celebration Bowl.
Well, here's the thing with that. When you look at what they've done, leaving the conference, and then you have other teams that are still there. When you look at them making this move, the thing is that, let's take football and basketball. You look at football, and we both know that the football schedules are made years in advance. So from what I'm told, the football schedule is already out. They're going to have to maneuver around it at least 2 years because
Right.
that's already, even though they left the conference, the football schedule is already done. So they're going to have to figure that part out. But we all know that, from my understanding and from what I've watched and from what we saw with them knocking off UNC, their basketball team, their women's basketball team
Very
is
strong.
competitive. They do come out. They do bring a different taste to basketball. So we know that they can compete. So here lies my question. It can be good or bad. But when we start to look at your Hamptons, you start to look at, Grambling keeps on progressing. You start to look at teams that are competitive, North Carolina A&T. You stop and you ask yourself, would it be feasible to leave your conference? Or do you stay and continue to compete against those teams? Because what happens is you don't want to leave your conference and go into another conference and be the redhead stepchild of that conference. You still want to be able to compete. So do you leave the conference or do you stay in the conference?
Well, I guess it depends on what your goals are. According to this article on the Daily Press, which is one of the sources that I use, in 2014, when Eugene Marshall was introduced as Hampton Athletic Director, he began exploring conference options for the Pirates from day one. So as soon as he got into the position, he was looking to leave the MEAC. And as you scroll down toward all of it, when you get into basketball, I mean, no MEAC team was among the top 200 in the RPI. The Big South had 4 such squads. led by Winthrop and UNC Asheville. So, if Hampton is able to, continue to build this athletic program, which I'm pretty sure they are, even though they're leaving an HBCU conference, they are still our HBCU brethren. So we do want to see them successful. They're just in the a PWI conference like Tennessee State is. So, but of course, this is going to have ramifications. What about Norfolk State that followed Hampton into the MEAC? The rivalries, Hampton, Howard, and of course Norfolk State. Will those games be able to still be played? Because these are all area schools. They're all in that Washington, D.C., Virginia area. So I mean, it's going to have its good and its bad. The MEAC. I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking to add a team. Are they going to take one from our squad, from our conference? I mean, early in the year, it was rumored that the Bama's were going to dump the SWAC to go to the MEAC. So it's going to be some moving and shaking somewhere. Someone's going to move up and over, and then of course Savannah State going back to the CIAA. So the day in the life of an HBCU sports fan, Kels.
I think with Savannah State going back, I think that because they weren't as productive over here in the MEAC, they were not as productive. Now, what's going to happen now? I don't know. I could actually see them in SIAC, actually, but with them switching over to the conference, they weren't as productive. Their record was not what it was predicted to be. So, I don't know. This might be a better move for them, but we'll see as the time goes on with people switching conferences, if it's going to be productive and how these moves are going to be effective and how it's going to play on other other conferences when people start to move out of the SWAC, MEAC, the CIAA, the SIAC, when they start to move into other conferences because they see the competitive play and they see that they can compete, and where does it put them? Because we know in every case, just because we're HBCUs does not mean that people can't compete. North Carolina A&T has showed us that we can compete. Howard has showed us that we can compete. Hampton has showed us that we can compete. Grambling has showed us that. All of these schools have showed us. Southern has showed us that we can compete. That's right. Alcorn has showed us. These people have showed us that we can compete, whether it be football, basketball, whatever the sport is. That we compete every time. Alabama State was tearing it down in volleyball. So we are competitive. We just have to set our standards to where we want to go next. And is that out of the conference, or is that in the conference steady competing? Right.
And being that you just said that, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We always have our HBCUs leaving our conferences to go to an independent PWI conference. But what if one of those Division II or Division III PWI schools decided, you know what, we're going to go see how this HBCU ball is. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be something? What you think about that? What if Delta State, who was a Division II school, decided they want to move up to FCS and join the MEAC or the SWAC? Now, Delta State is a successful Division II football program. I mean, could they compete in the SWAC and the MEAC? What you think about that?
I think it would be very productive, because what happens here, not only do you have a program that will move out of another division, but you also have diversity here. You're looking at diversity. So the only thing that happens here is that you get some of these programs, I'm not going to use them as an example, but you get some of these programs, and they'll quote unquote as money games, and they'll look at us like we're just a practice game. But when you look at them, they're the lower tier in their conference. They're the ones that's only going to be one team in their conference, but they come play the HBCU, and they think that they can beat. I think that would force them to, if we play these PWIs, it forces us to, quote-unquote, play up to the competition.
Right.
Play up to the competition. It shows us where we stand and how competitive we really are. So if we see how competitive we really are, it changes the game and it changes the mindset. Because it's just like, when we interviewed Kincaid, I feel like I can compete too. And honestly, he really can. He really can. It just depends on what team, what playing field. if you can play, you just can play.
Yeah,
and I feel like if they did come over to another conference and it's diverse and you see the different things, you learn, you feed off each other.
Right.
You learn and you see the different struggles.
Devontae had the talent. If he wanted to sit the bench and wait till Chad Kelly left, he would have been the starting quarterback after Chad Kelly left. He just decided he didn't want to sit the bench anymore. He felt like his talent was best served on the football field. And Grambling has been the benefit of those talents the past 2 years, going to play for a second consecutive SWAC championship against the Alcorn Braves. But that's for another topic later on during the show.
All right, so let's go ahead. Now, there's been a lot of coaching changes.
Exactly.
A lot of coaching changes. We have James Fady that has been fired right before Thanksgiving. We have Muncie Coleman that's out of Pine Bluff. We have Comagee that's not returning to Valley. And, of course, we have Brian Jenkins that was out of Alabama State back in October. When we talk about these changes, and then you come in yesterday, we'll say you name an interim, which is Andy Fuller, which I personally know because we're all from Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
Great move there because he's been on the coaching staff for God knows how long. What do you think about the coaching changes that are going on in the SWAC?
Well, I mean, we want to talk about the SWAC or HBCUs as a whole.
Well, I just started with those, but we can talk about them as a whole.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, of course, the SWAC, my home school, my alma mater, Valley. We decided to part ways with Jackson State's SWAC championship winning coach Rick Comagee. His signature win at Valley was in his first year when he defeated Jackson State at their homecoming. Not much success after that. Some turmoil within the football program. Of course, we are one of the most struggling football programs there are in the country as far as financially. Comagee was paid well. The results, we have some talented teams. Like we have the leading receiver in the SWAC. We have the second leading tackler in the SWAC. We have 3 quarterbacks that were talented. Matter of fact, our quarterback last year played at Fort Valley State this year for a SIAC championship. So we have had some talent come through Itabena. Just not enough to put together for a whole football team. Everett Nicholas is being looked at as a potential NFL player at cornerback. So we have some talent. We just haven't been able to put it together. And of course, you said Money Coleman, Spady, Jenkins, and then of course Ely at Bama State, and then in other conferences, Alex Wood stepped down at FAMU. Connell Maynard stepped down at Hampton, which is transition to the Big South. With their transition to the Big South, they're going to have a new coach. Kenny Carter stepped down at Delta State. Mark James at Virginia Union. Reginald Byars at Lincoln, Pennsylvania. And one name who has not been fired yet, but I expected this guy to, be able to revitalize this football program, being that he's an FBS. He's had success at the FBS level. Mike Haywood. How much longer is he going to be the head coach at Texas Southern? Because, Prairie View blew them out in the Labor Day Classic. He just hasn't been able to get it together either. And he has FBS experience, which means, hey, if you can coach on the FBS level and win, you should be able to come here and build some sort of a successful team. He hasn't been able to build a successful team. And he just looks lethargic and, just in his pictures, he just looks like, oh, what am I doing? I wouldn't have expected Texas Southern to be where they are with a coach with his resume. How much longer is he going to have a job?
You look at a coach like him, and I think this year it was a big surprise because more people thought that Texas Southern would be able to compete. I was one of the people that thought that they would at least upset some people. When they started off against Florida A&M at the beginning of the season, you could pretty much tell where that season was going to go.
Right.
That first game was one of the worst games that I have watched in a long time in HBCU sports. It was just total disgust, total chaos. It was like nobody knew what was going on. And I get the first game jitters. You're still trying to figure out. You're trying to gel. But it was one of the worst games that I have watched in a long time. And you can't help but to – there are two things here. One, with your resume, eyebrows will start raising. How are we paying this person this kind of money? How does he have this kind of resume, but you can't produce any type – you can't produce any type of wins. You can't produce any, like, simple things. It's simple things. Exactly. You can't produce anything productive. So people are going to start looking. The second thing with that is that you have these children that come out there and they play for you every single week. They owe it to those children to get them a coach or get someone in the position that is going to get them what they need. Everybody wants to win games. It's not everything. I don't care if it's an ugly loss, however you got to, or ugly win, however you got to do it, but everybody wants to win the game. So I guess we'll have to see how long he'll keep his job.
Right, and we gave them their first win on the year. Second consecutive Tiger. We allowed to become 1-7, my Delta Devils, and that's one reason why Comergy was gone, because this is the perfect year that I could have had some good bragging rights on Jackson State fans, but we could have finished ahead of them in the SWAC East. I can't remember a time where Valley finished ahead of Jackson State in the SWAC East. Do you know what kind of noise I could have talked all through spring practice? I'd have been talking noise about us finishing ahead of Jackson State in the SWAC East. But we lost to Jackson State. We lost to Texas Southern. We lost to Alcorn, which, of course, we knew we were going to lose to Alcorn. And we just couldn't get anything done after that. I'm curious to see where we go with our position, with our football coach position. Some people say they want Titan back. I just want someone that's going to, coach, and even if you have subpar talent, you can coach up your talent. You can take advantage of what teams are giving you. Coach Comergy didn't do that against Jackson State. He didn't do that against Texas Southern. Those were all winnable games. We beat Pine Bluff, a dramatic comeback, but in the games where we should have beaten Texas Southern and Jackson State, it's like we didn't adjust to anything. So how are you going to be a head coach with a championship pedigree and you're just not adjusting? I understand players have to execute, but it just didn't look like anything was being called to, take advantage of what Jackson State was giving us and what Texas Southern was giving us. So it was just time for a change. Kudos to Coach Comergy. He's a championship coach in the SIAC. He's a championship coach in the SWAC. He won't be out of work for long. I'm grateful that he got us that win over Jackson State, which I was elated to have. I still talk noise about that victory to this day. I don't care if we never beat them again. We beat them on their homecoming. We made them cry. So, that's enough bragging rights for me, Kels.
Let's go ahead and take a commercial.
All right, so we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more Black College Experience, and we were just talking about the coaching changes happening around the HBCU football scene, and that's a lot of them. So I guess over the next couple of weeks, we'll be letting you know or discussing the hires or candidates as we get information. So I guess we'll see. Someone say Dooley from Grambling could be a candidate. I guess we'll find out, Kels.
I guess we will.
All right, so what we heading to next?
Well, before we move on, let's go here. Looks like we were talking about a North Carolina Central alumna that was appointed to as a Wake County judge.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on there?
Okay, all right. Let me get this up. Alumna Ashley Parker Dunston has been appointed as a district court judge in North Carolina's 10th Judicial District by North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. Prior to being appointed to the Wake County Post, Parker Dunston served as Assistant Attorney General for the North Carolina Department of Justice. That's awesome for an African American woman, also being an HBCU graduate, to be appointed to this judgeship. I'm glad that she's going to be able to show what she can do to bring some law and order to her district. I think it's awesome that our HBCU graduates are doing big things, because yes, we are a sports show, but we also like to talk about our HBCU alums who are not athletes, who are doing wonderful things with their HBCU degrees, to show you that HBCU graduates are doing big things in the world. I mean, there's a lot of us doing things. You don't even know look at HBCU graduates. Just like now, you know I'm a Mississippi State fan, Kills. You know I'm heartbroken right now. Dan Mullen left my Bulldogs, went back home to Florida. But guess who's one of the coaches they're considering as a potential replacement? A rumor has it, Pep Hamilton, who's a Howard grad. You know, so I think that would be awesome. I mean, Pep Hamilton is a good football coach. Played at Howard. I don't think he went pro in the NFL, but he's coached all over the NFL, all over college. So our HBCU alums are just doing great and wonderful things, and we just want to let you know that we're proud of you and we're happy that you're doing something to show that HBCU graduates are excelling in the community and professionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, next up, one thing I want to talk about, we ain't going to talk about that Tennessee State defensive line. We ain't going to give him no type of airplay. But we all know scholarships are essential for students. Delaware State has submitted a budget request for fiscal year 2019 to ask for additional funds for the Inspire scholarships. President Williams outlined the school's future budget for 2019 budget request before Thanksgiving, and they're requesting $42 million from the legislature next year. That's about $7 million more than they got this year for the Inspire scholarships to be able to attract young students and have them use those funds for education and for paying, because you want to get a scholarship. If you can go through college without getting loans, that's a great and wonderful thing. So kudos to President Williams for asking for that extra money for that scholarship program. So
I think that's awesome. Anytime you can get, like you said, keyword, anytime you can go through college without getting a loan, have to take out any extra money, and you can get scholarships and you can walk away debt-free, it is a great thing. Anytime they can secure it, it's even better.
Right.
So as we're seeing, more and more of our HBCUs are taking the initiative, which brings me to today. You know, today is National Give Day. I made the plea. I saw so many people making the plea. HBCUs, and that was one of my things. If you want to give to somebody, give to your HBCUs, because those are the people that need it the most. Give to your alma mater. Give to the school that you say you love. Even if it's only $10, today is National Give Day. Give something to your school. Today is your day to do that, to make it viable.
Exactly. So, all right. So we of course we talked about a little about this Kills, the Bayou Classic, and it was an awesome game. We had 3 classes on this past weekend, the Bayou Class, the Lafayette Classic, and the Turkey Day Class. The first one we're going to recap is going to be the Bayou Classic, of course, between your Jaguars and the Grambling State Tigers. And, it started out bad for y'all. Austin Howard throwing an interception, giving Grambling a short field. Going down to halftime, down 17-7. But your Jags would fight back. Austin Howard led his team to take a 1-point lead over Grambling late in the fourth quarter. And when they scored that touchdown, Kills, the dome was rocking. I mean, the dome was rocking. You could tell who the majority of the fans were in that building were SU fans because I thought it was a tidal wave coming. And, in the post-game interview, Coach Fobb was saying that, there was no worry. But I asked a good friend of mine who's a Grambling State alum fan, what did he think about that? Was he scared? He was like, oh, yeah, I was nervous because he was like, we led the whole game. And toward the end of the game, Southern comes back and takes a 1-point lead late in the fourth quarter. But Grambling will not be denied. Malik Rout returned a kickoff. And, boy, when I say he reversed field and changed the field position for Grambling, set Grambling up deep in Southern's territory. And Superman, I guess you could say, called him now. Martez Carter returned from a rib injury to score the winning touchdown. Grambling would have had a field goal later to make the final score 30-21, but I tagged Austin and Devontae both to let them know that they are indeed SWAC legends, and they both left it out on the field. I mean, they battled back and forth that game. I mean, it wasn't a blowout like it was last year. I mean, it was just a battle. Southern battled back like a true championship team that they can be. But, of course, in a football game, there's only one team that can win. So, and Grambling State won that game. Now, the next game is the Labor Day Classic between Texas Southern and
sorry.
Prairie View. What's that?
I'm sorry. You didn't give me no chance to speak on my school whatsoever.
I didn't think you wanted to say nothing. Go ahead, Kel.
I mean, it's a game, but despite the loss, you can't help but to speak on the things that the children have done on both sides. So you can't, the game is over, the game is done, but still, none the more proud of the Jaguars, the seasons that they had, losing just those two games, well, losing to Grambling, losing to Alcorn, tough games, very great teams that you're competing against. Still, very proud of Austin, very proud of Danny Johnson, very proud of Aaron Tiller, which, of course, for everyone that does not know, Danny Johnson did get invited to the Reese's Senior Bowl that will be in Mobile. I will be in Mobile probably that weekend to see him play. So, it's everything, you play the game and it's like in a matter of seconds it ends, but it was a battle. You'll have some people that will admit that they were nervous. Then you have some people that just pretend like they didn't, but we were there. We felt the electricity there. Everyone was nervous from Grambling in that fourth quarter. I don't care what they say. Everybody was nervous when we went up 21-20. But, of course, the strip sack, the fumble, everything after that, you see it. But it was a great game. Like you said, it wasn't a blowout like last year. It was a battle. Very, very well. But, the end of the season, and we just look forward to the next season. So, like I tell people over and over and over again, you can't tell me, oh, we need to replace this or do this. You give me another coach that has not had spring practice in 3 years, and you can do what Coach Odoms is doing, then I commend you. This man hasn't had spring practice in 3 years, so I commend them on what they're doing. So, now going on over to the Turkey Day Classic.
The Turkey Day Classic between Prairie View and Texas Southern. Prairie View just showed that they were the better team, blowing out Texas Southern 30-16. The win by the Panthers gets them over the 500 mark to 6-5, and clinch the third straight winning season under third-year head coach Willie Simmons. Of course, Mike Haywood, we talked about him already, maybe not having his job much longer, but Prairie View has found a quarterback. Nico Hollins completed 26 of 41 passes for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. We'll see what he can do next year because, Austin's gone. Footman will be gone. Devontae will be gone. So maybe Nico Hollins can take center stage as being the premier quarterback in the SWAC for 2018. But go ahead and give your recap of this game, Caleb. What do you think about the Labor Day Classic?
It brings me back to Texas Southern. What are y'all doing? Is what it brings me back. Now, It's, I guess because it was the game that was supposed to be played at the beginning of the season. I want to say, had it been played at the beginning, it would have got more notoriety. More people would have focused on it. But it's the same weekend as Bayou Classic. Very well, that's not strategic at all. Not strategic at all. Because you have people that literally, you had some people, I know, that was at Bayou Classic. You had some people from Texas Southern, they just did. So I just don't think it was a strategic plan to play. But then if you look at it, there really was no other weekend but that weekend. Right. Because then you have SWAC championship, and then you take a week off, and then you have Celebration Bowl. So, overall, the season for Prairie View was it was okay. But Texas Southern, it was a struggle. But proud of Prairie View that they did finish. They did win. And to add to that, since we're here again, congratulations to the Marching Storm that represented for all HBCUs in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade. Put it down Thanksgiving morning in New York City. Did very, very well. I was very proud of them.
All right, and now moving on over to the Turkey Day Classic, a game that changed opponents. First, Alabama State was supposed to play Cheney, but they ended up playing Edward Waters, and of course, Alabama State outclassed Edward Waters 37-3. Edward Waters, a Division II school, playing in the GCAC and also the CFFL as far as football. They really put up much of a fight against Alabama State, but I mean, the game got played. The Sins ended up winning their last game. Coach Ely, had his audition for the head coaching position. Donald Ely, I don't know if he's going to be considered for the position. I think he should, because I think he went, 4-1 to finish out the season, I think. Even though some people want to say, they played some bad teams, it doesn't matter. He got this team together, and they started playing some good football. And when you have a person stepping in without a turmoil that Alabama State had going on, to get this team playing confident, I think he deserves a good look for the position. But then again, we know Alabama State is changing their administration, their department. They did add Ely as the interim coach. Perhaps they see something in him. I would like to see what goes on with this position, with Ely doing so well after stepping in as an interim role. And now, the coup de grace for the SWAC. Next week, I think, December 5th in Houston, will be Grambling State versus Alcorn State. For the, third straight year, we have this tilt. Alcorn winning the first, and Grambling winning the second one. I guess we'll see what happens again. Last year, Grambling blew out Alcorn in the regular season. Alcorn definitely made some adjustments, shutting out Grambling, and Grambling struggled to beat Alcorn, but they did come back and beat them. And again, will history repeat itself? Grambling blew out Alcorn in the regular season. So will Alcorn make the adjustment and play a tougher game in the championship game? It's always harder to beat that team that second go around. Alcorn is rested, even though they lost to Jackson State. Lenore's Footman did not start. It was a lot of, I guess you can say, hoopla behind that game. Alcorn said, we played our third string. They played starters, but they did not play their normal starting quarterback. Like I said, Alcorn is rested. Grambling coming off an emotionally charged Bayou Classic win over Southern. They have, the juices flowing still, even though they have not as well rested as Alcorn. I can't wait to see who wins this game, Kels. We're going to have to pick it. I grew up a Tiger. I had a rooting interest for Alcorn a few years ago, but that rooting interest is gone. I've never really cared for Alcorn much, so I'm going to pull for the Grambling State Tigers to win their second straight SWAC championship and represent the SWAC in the Celebration Bowl against North Carolina A&T. You're up, Kels. Who you think gonna win the SWAC championship and why?
Well, I'm not going to just give it an easy Grambling. I'm not. I think that Alcorn has learned from what happened. It's not going to be like it was when they blew them out 41-14. Definitely don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a tight play game. If we go back to SWAC championship last year, Alcorn gave them fits, but we both know that Fobbs knows how to make the adjustments. He does know how to come away with the W. So I guess in hindsight, even if it's only by 2 points, I'll probably go ahead and say I'll give it to Grambling. I think Grambling's going to be the one. If Kincaid and Martez can have the same game that they had this weekend, definitely going to be. But they're going to have to control the football. Same thing with Alcorn. You're going to have to control the ball. Just keep in mind that you have Footman, you have a veteran quarterback. You also have DeLance Turner. So it's a lot of controlling in both of these things. It's going to be a great game because they're going back to play this game. They wanted the rematch, so it's going to be a really good game.
Right.
But again, I think the key is going to be no turnovers in the football. You're going to have to control it because if they do let Kincaid get out, if he scrambles like he did with Southern getting out, he had about 1 million quarterback carries on Saturday. The kid had like 1 million quarterback carries. I mean, he's going to put the game on his back. It's every 5 seconds was Kincaid with the quarterback keep. Kincaid with the quarterback keep.
That's because he was under pressure.
Every minute, he's like, and if they get the pressure on him, it's going to be a hellified game. So, again, it's just some key things that they're going to have to do to control it. But I'm still thinking that Grambling will walk away with this.
Right. And like last year, Alcorn did a wonderful job on containing Kincaid. He sacked him so many times in that SWAC championship game. And that's something that Coach Fobbs keyed on in the press conference, saying that Devontae would take some sacks because he's looking to make a play downfield. But he does have the mobility and the capability to get away from sacks. But, I can't wait to see. We're both voting with Grambling. I'm pretty sure we got Alcorn fans listening. They're not going to be happy with that. Probably get some nasty messages on my Facebook. I don't care. I'm rolling with the Tigers. I just don't think the Braves are going to be able to pull it out. So I'm gonna throw my line in with Grambling. I'm not gonna make no bet like I did on the Egg Bowl. You can see my ugly picture I got up there. I'm just looking forward to Grambling. Representing us in the Celebration Bowl, and then we'll pick that game the week before. Because there's been some noise talk about the North Carolina and Aggies on social media that we just been waiting to see who we could throw our lot behind. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Kels, you preach it. You know what I'm saying? The SWAC comes together when we need to, and that's what's going to happen come Celebration Bowl time, Kels.
I'm not biased to conference. Celebration Bowl. I'm definitely at this time at Celebration Bowl. I'm definitely riding with North Carolina A&T.
Oh, regardless of who wins, you already giving your pick even before the SWAC championship game.
Yeah, I've said this the whole time. North Carolina A&T, whomever plays them is going to have to come with their A game. Whoever wins SWAC championship, they're going to have to come with their A game. They have a lot of talent. You look at what Coach Broadway has done. Shout out to Coach Broadway. MEAC, Coach of the Year. Very well deserved. Very well deserved. But, yeah, regardless, it's going to be a lot. And I guess we're going to have to see what happens this weekend in SWAC Championship to determine what they're going to have to do going up against this undefeated North Carolina A&T Aggie team.
Right. And some other SWAC news before we jump over to the other conferences. Congratulations to Alabama State. They won their 4th SWAC title in 5 seasons. Coach Penny was a guest on our show. They defeated Texas Southern. And in soccer, Alabama State won the SWAC championship, and then they lost in the first round of the NCAA tourney. The volleyball tournament is going to be November 30th through the 16th. So I'm going to find out who we play in that. Hopefully Alabama State can, get past the first round. So, we got our SWAC champions representing us on the national level. Congratulations to both Alabama State squads for winning SWAC championships in soccer and volleyball. And of course, bowling is starting up. Yes, a basketball season is starting. We're going to have some posterizing dunks and three-point shots. A lot of three-point shots made this year. We're going to have some upsets. I already had a few upsets this year in basketball. So, yeah, Kels. It's just an exciting end to football season. And then, cranking it right back up to get on that hardwood for the men's and women's basketball seasons. Before we jump over to football, off of football, we did have some playoff games to talk about in the CIAA. My computer's acting crazy. I know Virginia State lost their playoff game, and I have to excuse me, computer problems. But Virginia Union did lose their playoff game. Kels, you got the spreadsheet pulled up?
I don't. I'm just looking off a sheet, so no, I don't.
Oh, boy, I hate when this happens. All right, here we go. I got it. Virginia State falls in the Division II playoffs to West Georgia, and Bowie State loses to Delta State, a former Delta State that I talked about earlier. Like I said, Bowie State is a strong team, and Delta State defeated them on their home field. And also West Georgia defeated Virginia State on their home field. So they had to come to the HBCU home fields in the playoffs. So, those teams are at home now. Congratulations on their strong seasons. And let's see, something I want to talk about in football, in the MEAC, because we had the football honors dispersed this week before we jump over to basketball. Brandon Parker is the MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Year, and Kalen Newton is the MEAC Football Rookie of the Year. And Kels already said that Coach Broadway was the MEAC Coach of the Year. The offensive and defensive players of the year will be announced on December 5th at the Hilton Midtown in New York City. The event will be televised live on ESPN3 at 9 a.m. So make sure you tune in. MEAC partner with the National Football Foundation and the College Hall of Fame to award the MEAC Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. It's just awesome, to award these young men the hard work that they put in the classroom and the hard work that they put in on the football field. I'm going to run down the first team for the offense and defense right quick. And if you want to check these out, you can look this information on MEACsports.com. The first team offense, quarterback Lamar Raynard out of North Carolina A&T. Running back Marquare Cartwright out of North Carolina A&T. Anthony Field, running back out of Howard. Elijah Bell, wide receiver out of North Carolina A&T. You can see why Kels is going for North Carolina A&T because they got the first team offense sold up. A wide receiver Jaquez Ezra out of Howard. Tight end Trey Scott out of North Carolina A&T. Center Darren Mack out of North Carolina A&T. Brandon Parker, Marcus Pettiford, both out of North Carolina A&T, offensive lineman. Gerald Wright out of Howard, offensive lineman. Dwayne Brown, offensive lineman. Bethune-Cookman. Defense, Darrell Johnson out of North Carolina A&T. Kawan Cox out of North Carolina Central. Stephen Banks out of Savannah State. Chris Lee out of Norfolk State. Linebackers, we already know Darius Leonard, senior linebacker out of South Carolina State. Reggie Hunter, North Carolina Central. Jeremy Taylor, North Carolina A&T. Defensive backs, Devontae Reynolds out of North Carolina Central. Franklin McLean out of North Carolina A&T. He's a true freshman. Daquan Richardson out of Bethune-Cookman. Tamadre Abram out of North Carolina A&T. And the specialist, punter, Nathaniel Chiklik out of North Carolina Central. Uriel Hernandez out of Bethune-Cookman. And return specialist, Chris Garden out of North Carolina A&T. Congratulations to the MEAC, all MEAC first team. Of course, if you want to review the second and third teams, you can visit that information on MEACsports.com, Kels.
That's stuff. That's the they turned up a lot. They turned up a lot coming out of North Carolina A&T. Very excited for that team and everything that they got to offer. So again, I'm very excited to see them once they get down to the Celebration Bowl, because so much is going on with them. So very excited to see what's going to happen with them once, like I said, once they get out here. Because I mean, going undefeated, it's very crazy. Now, let me ask you your thoughts on this. You get a chance to either do playoffs or you go to the Celebration Bowl. Which do you choose?
Right now, I like the Celebration Bowl. I like the Celebration Bowl setup because you award the black college national champion. This stage is set up to be centered on the HBCU conferences out of the FCS. But when you go to the playoffs, you don't get that such type of focus. You don't get that type of exposure. If you want exposure for your conference, right now the Celebration Bowl gives you the exposure. But if you were to have an HBCU team do well in the playoffs, even get to as far as winning it, or upsetting some teams in the FCS, that will bring some exposure also. But right now, I think in terms of exposure and in terms of experience for your HBCU football players and your fans, the Celebration Bowl is right now where it is, because, when you have the FCS playoffs, will SWAC fans travel for a team that's winning in the FCS playoffs? Will they travel these great distances to see these football games? And I remember, when I was a kid growing up, I think Alcorn played against Samford. And this is when Steve McNair was playing. And I think Alcorn traveled well for that game, but but it wasn't a pretty outcome. We all know Alcorn had some strong teams behind Steve McNair, but they were no match for Samford that day. I think right now the best thing for the SWAC and the MEAC to do is to work on keeping the Celebration Bowl viable. If you have a strong team that is not qualified for the Celebration Bowl, like Southern, if they could get selected for a playoff bid, or a Prairie View or Alabama A&M, if they were strong enough or had a strong enough schedule, and just happened to lose the SWAC East to Alcorn or Jack State or whoever was winning that league, they could get an at-large bid. Go ahead and play and for the experience. But I think as a league, this Celebration Bowl for the SWAC and the MEAC gives you the best exposure and bang for your buck, and also fan experience than the FCS playoffs could ever give. It's in Atlanta. The game is played on national TV. It's a bowl experience for the SWAC and MEAC champ, comparable to bowl experiences in the FBS division. And I think that's good. I think that's great. I think that's awesome compared to the FCS playoffs, where our schools have not fared very well in that realm. But if we want to say that we are the premier football league, I do think we need to start playing those teams during the regular season and beating some of them to the point to where they may invite us to play in the playoffs, and we may say, never mind, but we already got a victory over you. What if Grambling beat North Dakota State? I'm sorry, North Dakota, what Wentz came out of. You know what I'm saying? What if Southern beats Fordham? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Kennesaw State. You know what I'm saying? They were like 9-1, I think. I think the playoffs are good for, if you can go and do well. But historically, we haven't done well. Celebration Bowl gives us the exposure that we need and that we so that we crave in the HBCU realm of sports.
I think we, it's again, that goes back to us being competitive. That goes back to us being competition, us being able to compete. When people think we can't, we are still able to compete. We're able to do this every time. So I think it's going to be interesting. Again, as we see what happens, the competition, does that push us to say, hey, let's go into another conference? Where does that push us? What does that say as far as staying in the conference when you get as competitive and you have these undefeated teams every year? Where does that push you to?
Well, I mean, I think if you play teams outside of your conference and you fare well against them, of course, the SWAC East and West are top heavy. Even though Jack State defeated Alcorn was the cream of the crop in the SWAC East. Cream of the crop in the SWAC West was Grambling and Southern. Nobody else was a threat. So I guess you could say, oh, y'all just beating up on each other. Y'all just the bullies of the SWAC beating up on, the feeble teams in the SWAC. But when you step outside that SWAC, can you compete? I think Grambling can. I think Southern can. Because, of the programs and the coaches that they have there. Alcorn can. They almost beat McNeese State, took McNeese State to the wire. Bethune-Cookman defeated Southeastern. So when I was there for that game, and Southeastern tried everything in their power to steal that game, but Bethune-Cookman wouldn't be denied. I think, like I said, I think we should stay with the Celebration Bowl, but I think we should schedule some of these FCS powers to show them we're not afraid of you. We just want to do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? We want to do our own thing. We don't want to be, subjected to what you want us to do, but we'll come play you during the regular season, and we'll probably walk out of your home stadium with a victory too. So you have to think about that. Do they really want a powerhouse HBCU team coming in the FCS playoffs and walking away and winning that thing? Because with the way Favre is recruiting, with the way he brings talent into Grambling, I mean, Grambling State can compete with some of the top tier PWI FCS squads. They almost beat Arizona last year. I understand that was last year. Totally different year this year, But hey, I just feel like, Coach Favre is bringing in talent. Coach Odoms is bringing in talent, developing it over time to where they can be competitive. And as you see, the Southern gave Grambling all they could handle. So Southern's not going to lay down for anyone. I would like to see us play some of these FCS powers outside of the SWAC, just to let them know that we're not afraid of you. We will play you, and we'll beat you.
Another classic that I want to touch on that we didn't really talk about was, I call it the Florida Classic, and that was Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman College. Now, that one took place, FCS, this one took place, of course, on November 18th. The final score was 24-29, with Bethune-Cookman walking away with it, but Bethune-Cookman was a 7-4 team up against Florida A&M that was a 3-8 team. This year, Florida A&M didn't do is what I think Florida A&M is still trying to get back into the swing of the old Florida A&M, because they definitely did not play up to the caliber that I thought they would this year. Definitely not going 3-8. Before a crowd is almost 50,000 people, say it at a large draw, but definitely did not play up to the caliber that they should have in the Florida Classic.
Right. Well, I mean, Florida A&M, I grew up, when I was younger, Florida A&M was a strong team. I mean, you feared the Rattler. And they did, like I said, they did make a change at the head coach position. So they're going to be looking to rebuild and try to topple the North Carolina teams from being on that MEAC mountain. One team already decided we don't want to fool with the North Carolina team. Y'all can have that MEAC mountain. We're going to go climb the Big South Rock. And beating Howard in their last MEAC game also. Hampton. When all these coaching positions are filled, and we know who these coaches are, and we're gonna pick apart their resumes and see, listen to their press conferences, and just see what the future holds for these programs. Florida A&M being one of them. Can they get back to their winning way? Like I said, they had their in the Gaither Classic celebrating that undefeated championship team. So Florida A&M has a rich history of winning. It just hasn't been lately. I guess we'll see once all the coaching hires have been made how this impacts the HBCU football landscape, Kels. But
absolutely.
Before we get out of here, we got about 2 minutes left. I want to congratulate Howard on winning the women's volleyball championship, and I also want to congratulate Kentucky State for winning the volleyball championship in the SIAC. So the MEAC volleyball champions, Howard, and the SIAC volleyball champions, Kentucky State. Those young ladies, did an winning championships, and Shaw, Coach Goree, won, I think, Coach of the Year in the CIAA for volleyball. So she's a former guest. So we're glad that she's still doing her winning ways. And who knows, maybe Coach Goree and Coach Penny Lucas will have an exhibition match between their awesome volleyball squads, Kel. I think that would be something to see. What you think?
I think so, too. I think it'll be really good competition. Really good competition.
So, and also, before we get out of here, Langston U got their first loss last week, losing in the first round of the NAIA playoffs. They also had 39 selections on the CSFL, all CSFL football team. You can view those 39 selections on langstonsports.com. Also, 6 Tennessee State Tigers earned all OVC. Those Tigers, I'm gonna name those. There's only 6. I'm not gonna go through all 39 selections that Langston had. That's too much. And here they are, the 6. Let's see here. I have them here. Collins, Okongo, Morrow, and Sellers led this charge for Tennessee State defense. Clark earned his second consecutive first-team selection. Okongo becomes the first Tiger to be named to the OVC first team in 3 consecutive years. Smith earned his second trip to the All-OVC team, finishing 4th all-time in receiving. This marked the first postseason honor for Morrow in his 4-year career. And Sellers coming off the name FCS Stats Jerry Rice Award finalist for the top freshman in the country. Congratulations to these 6 Tennessee State Tigers for making the All-Ohio Valley Conference team. And we have a call coming in. Is that you, PP? Hello?
All right, that's...
Well, hey, we had a call coming in, but I guess he's not going to say nothing. But we are at the end of our show. And, of course, next week we will be recapping the SWAC championship game. We have both picked the Grambling State Tigers to win. I guess we'll see if we're right, Kels. And we'll have some basketball coverage on the men and women's side from all conferences across the United States. Big D, signing out. Kels, you got any final parts?
That's it. We will see what happens this weekend in Houston. Good luck at the SWAC championship to both Grambling and Alcorn. Good luck to everybody traveling, and we'll see y'all on Sunday. Good night.
All right. Peace out.